Hey, this is Anney.
And Samantha.
And welcome to Stuff Mom Never Told You, production of iHeartRadio.
And welcome to another happy hour. Y'all, we're in preps to do the Sex and the City episodes coming up, but we're taking a quick pause because technical issues and trying to make sure we're all in line and all the things. So it's been a busy week. We've had really great guests or friends coming to talk to us. So, we're going to make it a little simpler. And I thought we'd take a minute to revisit our last happy hour talk from Anney. But before we start all of that, Anney, are you sipping on anything delicious?
Coffee. I'm still on coffee.
Oh, coffee mode. Yeah, I am drinking a seltzer water as well, just regular bubble water. So it's kind of earlier. And we're jumping very quickly into recording. There's a lot to record today. But all that to say is we are not necessarily sponsored by anything like coffee. Although that would be nice. Can someone from coffee?
Coffee, the generic.
Can you sponsor us? I don't know whom, but no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, and then if you are partaking as you're listening, do so responsibly. You know how it goes. Be a good adult. Try. This is an easy adult thing. I say ... But just take care of yourself. That's not the easy part, though. The taking care of yourself. That I've noted. However, as I said before, I wanted to kind of revisit because we were so excited and talking about possible snow coming, all the disasters that could come with us, everybody prepping for it, as well as like whether or not we're going to frolic. And Anney, it did snow.
It did. It did.
It did. So I will tell you, I have been telling most people because I think it's hilarious at mid-40s. I'm like still very giddy about a good snow day. From Atlanta, we haven't had snow in a couple of years, really good snow. We've had icings. Icings are common for us, unfortunately. At least once a year, we'll get that to the point that people's pipes burst and we have to figure out what's going on. But I woke up, first of all, before I went to bed, I was looking out the window, looking at the clouds, trying to feel the air changes because the environment changes a little bit and you can feel it. But the morning I woke up at 4 a.m. I had a lot of things on my mind, but part of that was also, is it snowing? Which is what I did all the way growing up in school because, the minute we saw any snow actually hit, any bit of it, oftentimes it would cancel school. And although that's the day we could sleep in, that's also the day that we're not at school and can play in the snow. So I woke up at 4 a.m. looking, and y'all, there was no snow yet. I was very sad about that. I was like, oh no, it's going to be one of those times. I remember waking up as a kid being disappointed that there was no actual snow on the ground and being like, man, where's the snow? And like feeling really let down. So I woke up at 4 a.m. with that experience. And I was like, oh no. But I went and did my thing in the living room, got coffee. I fell asleep for like 30 minutes. I went back to sleep for like a little bit. When I woke back up, I saw the dusting, as you call it, and then the big giant flakes coming down. I was so excited to the point at 6:30. I waited till about 6:30 to wake up my partner and be like, look, and opened up the curtain and made him look at the big pelts of snow because it was so big, the clusters. Yeah. And then I just watched it as it hit. And then we got I want to say 3 inches. Everybody was saying 1 to 1.5. I was like, no, this is definitely thicker than that. What did you do? How did you wake up that day?
I think I also woke up at 4, but I didn't get out of bed until 6. And it was freezing rain at first, but then it pretty quickly became snow. And the way my apartment is set up, I can kind of sit and research, and I have windows right in front of me so I can see out. But it reminded me of what you were talking about in the last happy hour about snow. About the lamppost that your family had. There was a lamppost because it's still dark. It's like 6 right outside my window, and it was so cool to see the snow and like the light of the lamppost. But then, as the light came out, I was like, oh wow, yeah, this is a good amount of snow,
right?
And it definitely on top of my car, it looked like more than 1.5 inches. I'm not a great judge of, but it looked like a lot.
Like my partner went out and did a whole little measurement, but it was on our patio furniture. So I don't know how reliable that is, but I feel like that's pretty reliable because it's like a
Yeah.
steady surface, and it was 3 inches. So it felt like a lot of snow. I will say I got very excited, and I made him wake up by at least 8:30, 9, because I think I won't let him sleep till 9. And we didn't go out till like 9:30 because I knew it was going to change. The snow was changing to sleet. And I don't want to play in sleet. I want the big chunks of snow falling on you and feeling all like mystical because it's melting as it lands on you. We are in an area, though, I will say, that we don't get flakes. So I'm very sad. The first time I saw actual snowflakes and realized that whole like like paper cutouts that we do as children, and I guess some as adults who are still crafty, that's what it actually looks like. I really thought it was just a cartoonish imagination. And then when I went into a higher elevation where it actually remains pretty pure, to see the actual shapes of the crystal of the flakes is magical. It is
Mhm.
so beautiful. You can hear the giddiness to see. But in Atlanta, in the state of Georgia, like in the city area, we don't see that. We see clumps of white flakes that's already started to melt, essentially, which is that conversation we had. But it was lovely. So we went out. I made my dog wear a hoodie because in my mind she is cold. Don't fight me on
Mm.
that. I didn't make her wear booties because I wanted her to be able to run. And in booties, she doesn't run well. When it got icier, because it turned into ice later, and it got harder and like more difficult. I then put booties on her. But we had fun. She didn't know what was going on. She's like, "What? Why?" That was kind of the initial like what's happening. Also, her displeasure in the hoodie. But then when my partner would like throw a little snow at her, she was like, "Oh, okay, what's the game? We're having a snowball." We would play chase, or she would play with the ball, and it was the same kind of thought with the snowballs. But then she would try to eat it, and her eating would be like, "I don't like it. Oh wait, what is this? Oh, I like it. No, I don't like it." Kind of reaction. We got videos. I'll post those videos. But it was really fun. And then after we stayed out for a good 15 minutes, because I got very cold, I went inside. I had like 16 layers on me. I looked really fluffy myself. I was like, okay, I'm good. Thanks, I'm done. Now I just want to see it from here. And I wanted to keep the front yard. We kept it pretty pure. Like we didn't step in it because I
Yeah.
wanted that landscape. And it was so pretty. And a lot of you who are on our social media got to see some of our pictures. I posted the picture of the snow falling down outside of my window because I was really excited. It was really lovely. But yeah, I really I enjoyed my time. What about did you get to frolic?
I did frolic. I did frolic. I frolicked twice. Um, so I went out pretty early. It was interesting because I think I went out around 7:30, and there's nobody out. There was nobody out. I thought
Hmm.
there would be more people kind of playing. They might have been in some other area, but I just
Hmm.
walked around my neighborhood for a little bit. And when I came back, I did see these adults who were having like the time of their life building snowmen, and they were huge snowmen, like
Oh yeah.
enormous. And then I saw somebody who was driving and her car kind of got stuck, and all the people came together to help her move her car into her driveway because she was fine until she had to slow down and turn. So that was nice to see. And then I went back out and frolicked some more. I went to Piedmont Park and people were doing like sledding and like the news was there. But it did change to freezing rain, and we had to record that day. So I had to be back. I wasn't there very long. I kind of just wanted to see what was up.
Yeah.
But it was really fun. It was really cool. And it was a Friday, which I know like some people I didn't even tell this story. I totally forgot about it. But I once had a meeting, and it was a guy. It was for this job, and it was a guy kind of infamous who doesn't work with us anymore. But he was from New York,
Hmm.
He wasn't really from New York. I feel like this was a power play. He actually is from Georgia, but he lived in New York. But he
Oh
called a
no, he's not one
meeting.
of those.
He called a meeting during a snow, like knowing we don't do this in Atlanta. And so I had to drive on the streets. So all that being said, I am very glad we don't have to go into the office necessarily. It was a weekend. It was nice coming up because it did stay around for a little while, but also like feel so bad for the people who have to like find that way to go to work because it was horrible and I hated it.
Right.
And it was for a pointless meeting. Oh, I'm still mad about it, clearly.
No, yeah. I'm just thinking about the character BJ Novak in Office, where he went to New York for a little while and would be like, well, in New York, this is what we did. Yeah. I mean, if you really want to be in New York, but okay. Yeah. But that's how I imagine him. But yeah, I think I just see a lot of people talking about that. We just had a conversation with Eve talking about how she was talking to someone who was a student, and they were like, yeah, we still have school. I don't go in anyway, so we still had school, and we're not watching to see whether or not we go in. We're watching to see whether or not we have online school or in-person school. I will say I did have a friend of mine who is a teacher here in Georgia, and I think she does younger students, and they just canceled school. Yeah. So she got to have an extra 3 days, and she really was grateful for that, because that was part of the fun parts of being in school and seeing snow days. For those who we don't get snow days, and the state is very ill-equipped to handle snow days when ice is on the road. There's still snowmen around. Are those snowmen still up? I see a lot of snowmen still up.
They might be, like, the bottom part of that snowman was almost the size of like an average sized adult. It was insane, Samantha.
They might probably still around because it's still been pretty cold. It hasn't gotten really above 40s, and the sun has been out, but there's enough shading, and it goes cold enough at night that a lot of that has stayed. I still have little pockets of snow in my backyard, which is surprising. We may get a second snow. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be as excited. I'm going to be excited. I still want to see it, but I don't like cold.
Yeah.
But being inside, being able to stay inside, being fortunate enough to stay inside, having enough food in the house, and like being with my partner and having a good time with him, it does feel nice, but it doesn't really change our days. It just means I can't go out and about, which is fine because I don't go out and about too often anyway.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see if the second one hits us and how we feel about that.
Yeah. It was kind of like comical. It's not really, but it was kind of comical how hard I found to find how hard it is to get groceries.
Yeah.
Like, I think even now
it's still hard. Yeah, those trucks hadn't come until recently. I actually asked about that. I was like, is there something going on? Because is it the avian flu, or is it because Georgia people go ham when it comes to trying to stock up on the unnecessary stuff that is necessary to their heads?
I think it's that, but it's also like the reason we talked about the snowpocalypse. One of the main reasons it happened is that those big trucks aren't supposed to go through Atlanta unless they're stopping in Atlanta. They're supposed to go around, we call it 285, around the perimeter, but a lot of them go through. And I'm not going to say, because I know being a trucker is difficult and there's a lot of bullshit that happens. So, but those trucks get stuck and then we all get stuck. But yeah, there was like nothing. It was crazy. So we'll see. To have one so close, I'm worried I'm going to have to rely on some. Well, I love eating ramen, so that's okay. But
yeah, it's perfect weather. I made 4 different types of like stew or soups in the last week and a half. I want you to know this. 2 weeks. Last night I made a hefty potato soup with pretty much a lot of bacon grease.
Sounds delicious. I also want to just say, some of you listeners wrote in about your experiences with snow days and how you've tried to kind of maintain the snow day, and from a bunch of different places. So thank you for that. But I really appreciated that they were generally non-judgmental. They were happy for us. And I'm like, thank you.
There was so many people. There's different people on like online that do understand that excitement and felt the joy with us.
Mm-hmm.
So that was nice to see.
It was. We really
Also
appreciate
laughing at us for some of the antics that we had. But I was like, I was like, why, Atlanta? Stop that.
It's, yeah. But it was much appreciated that you all shared your stories, but we're also like, good for you. Go have fun.
Go have fun. Don't bring it to us, though.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll report back, I guess, if it happens again.
Yeah, we will.
The weather changes so rapidly, though. I'm like,
yeah.
I have no idea.
It's unpredictable. I'm not putting too much into that.
Yeah, me either. But at this point, it says 2 inches, and I'm like, what?
I saw 3 inches. I was like, what?
Oh my goodness. Okay. I gotta go back to the store. I gotta be part of the problem.
You're part of the problem.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much, listeners, for sharing your stories with us. Please continue to do so, because it was really interesting, the differences based on location. And yeah, we hope that you all are well. If you have any soup recipes you'd like to share, we love recipes. So you can contact us in many ways. You can email us at hello@stuffmonevertoldyou.com. You can also email us at stuffmediamomstuff@iheartmedia.com. You can find us on Blue Sky at Mom Stuff Podcast, or on Instagram and TikTok at Stuff I Never Told You. We're also on YouTube. We have a TeePublic store, and we have a book you can get wherever you get your books. Thanks as always to our super producer Christina, our executive producer Maya, and our contributor Joey.
Thank you.
And thanks to you for listening. Stuff I Never Told You is a production by iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, you can check out the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.